The Oblates of the Virgin Mary were first founded in 1816 by Father Bruno Lanteri in northern Italy. Then they expanded to France, to Argentina, and Brazil. But 150 years into the history of the congregation, there was nothing in the English-speaking world. That is, until one eccentric Italian oblate living in Brazil heard about Americans interested in the Oblates.
I had just read that some young American was interested to enter with the Oblates.
Father Vincenzo Antolini, despite not knowing any English and being 4,000 miles away in the Amazon, felt called by God to respond to this interest in the Oblates.
And I said, well, I would like to help those guys. How? I am in the Amazon. That's a good challenge, I said, for you, God.
So he headed to Boston to meet with the Portuguese-speaking Cardinal Medeiros, and he had quite the offer for him.
And he offered us a church. Look here. And he had the blueprints, you know, big blueprints of St. Clement. I said, okay, that's impossible. Yes, the Cardinal is giving to us. You know, I don't believe. Wow.
So the Superior General of the Oblates asked Father Antolini if he would commit 2 months to this new mission.
Would you go there for a couple of months, 2 months?
But he had his boat in the Amazon that he used for his missionary work.
I said, okay, but you know, I have to go back to the Amazon. I left my boat. No, leave it there. Okay, no, don't worry. But 2 months, 2 months. I said, where? 2 months? Good, okay. That will be good experience, you know. And then I came, you know.
So in 1976, with no heat, no cook, no teachers, and no English, he returned to America for 2 months, plus the final 45 years of his life, founding Our Lady of Grace Seminary 2 years later in 1978. And in short order, the congregation grew, adding men and attracting new vocations while expanding to Hawaiian Gardens, California, Alton, Illinois, the Prudential Center in Boston, Denver, Colorado, Milton, Massachusetts, the Philippines, and most recently, Venice, Florida. But the heart always remained at Our Lady of Grace Seminary that formed these men and continue to form them today in the spirit and vision of Venerable Bruno Lanteri.
People who know Father Antolini know about his big devotion to Our Lady, and I think along with that devotion, he actually got to imitate her really well, namely in her fiat and saying yes to God. And it's not a distrusting yes, it's not a yes with some suspicion. It seems like a risk to go to a foreign country where he barely knows the language, but I think there's a part of him that recognized too that with God, it's never really a risk. When we know God, we know that He has a very good plan in store, even if we don't see it.
None of us would be here if so many men and women throughout history didn't say yes to God. I had never met Father Antolini, but I visited his gravesite multiple times this year. I recognize that this is a man that said yes to God, and I wouldn't be here with the Oblates if he didn't say yes to God. With Father Antolini's yes, to be a man of mercy and to be a man of hope, someone that probably didn't see all the pieces and how they'd fit together, but we weren't promised comfort.
I grew up in a small town and moved to a big city. Still speaking the same language, came from American culture to American culture, and the transition has still provided challenges. And so when I think about the stories I've heard of Father Antolini, all I'm left with is gratitude. So many things are taken care of for me here so that I can enter into the silence of God and hear His voice as to where He's calling me in my life. Everything that's taken care of for me here, I can trace it back to Father Antolini.
So Father Antolini is I think, is a great pioneer for us, the Oblates here, because Boston is a great city, and it's great to have St. Clement's Shrine, Our Lady of Grace Seminary here. There's so many great people that walk through these doors, through these shrines, through this seminary. So many great priests out there. that because of people's generosity, because of their prayers, their financial generosity, that we're able to do what we do in our parishes.
I think what it means to be an oblate is, I think it's a man that's on fire for God, that profoundly knows God from his own personal prayer experience, and then is zealously sharing that in a way that's relatable, in a way that's human, in a way that's merciful. And Father Antolini was no exception for what it means to be an oblate.
So I think of him as kind of a trailblazer for the last 50 years of oblate life, really. I've certainly never had an experience like Father Antolini's, but I also have to be ready for the unexpected. There's something mysterious, something beautiful in that.
Anyone who is in a loving relationship wants to go all in and fully commit. So yeah, it is stupid, it's crazy, it's insane, but that's what love is, you know.
Never again I saw my father. We don't know where he died. To Jesus I said, well, after the bombing in Rome, I don't know why I am alive. I consecrated myself to you, Jesus. I want to go to the seminary to be priest. That was my prayer that I remember I did, you know.
Father Antolini, on behalf of all the Oblates, past, present, and future, we thank you for your response to God's call and this home we call Our Lady of Grace Seminary.